بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحي أهلا بكم أحبتي في درس جديد ودرس مختص بالهندسة المدنية. واليوم المحاضرة الرقمية بعنوان مجموعة CSI Programs العالمية. دليل استخدام برنامج ايتابس. دليل استخدام برنامج ايتابس. So in the name of God, the most gracious, most merciful, in the name of Allah, the most gracious, most merciful. Today we are in a digital, whole new, brand new lecture that we actually about visualize today exactly about the CSI program software set globally and worldwide utilized exactly as you can see right from here, the directory exactly or the guide exactly here to use the software program of eTabs. Digital lecture for today is actually most associated to the context that we're actually going right now. So as you can see right from here, so the set of CSI programs worldwide, utilized CSI programs, as you can see right from here. There are a set of programs of analysis and structural design programs for different kind of structures, as well as facilities and towers and skyscrapers and tankers and hum-hums and bridges and pedestrian, let's say here pedestrian cabarets with different different types. So for any type of loadings, including the current including the wind and seismic loading, using the linear statistical analysis method, and as well as the utilization of the dynamic analysis as well. The software are released or even issued exactly from and engineers and PhD holders and academic from Berkeley University and California State University. By God willing, glorified and exalted, of course. So the issuing of CSI programs, worldwide company for structural softwares. The SAP softwares, or the SAP softwares, as you can see, first software of the company since the 70s, the last century here, it can be used by using this program or by using such a software to analyze the entire types of structures, tanks, towers, upsides, cabarets, bridges, etc. Not bridges, not bridges. Upsides, let's just say here, dunes, etc. It's widespread or even pretty much utilized worldwide and pretty much viral exactly in the general media, being as a very confident software or being a software of very confident of giving or as you can see of giving, analyzing and designing outcomes. This is SI front, as you can see. This is the SI front here for the program or for the software. When you try to pop the CSI program here, as you can see right from here, this is the SI program. As you can see right from here, the front is going to be like that way, or it's going to be exactly as this way as indicated right here before you. So the software of eTabs we're about to visualize right now. This is software. It specializes by the structures and facilities and towers of all types. And this the program or software program was released exactly to facilitate and to simplify the modelation of the entire buildings and facilities instead of SAP software, taking into consideration that the most established project or the most established tasks are buildings and facilities, housing complexes or even or complexes, as you can see, or commercial or commercing compounds. 3. Safe program or safe. This is eTabs front, as you can see right here. eTabs front here for the CSI issued edition 9. As you can see right here, this eTabs program here, which is pretty much very issued or even very updated version of the CSI program called the eTabs here. Pretty much associated for the way we just said about the software of the program we're actually trying to visualize, or we're actually trying to go right for today and the upcoming days, for God willing, surely God willing, glorify and exalt. So the safe program, as you can see right here, this is 12 safe 12 or the edition 12, as you can see, of the CSI franchise or CSI series. The software of SAFE. This program is specialized in the modulation, analyzing, design the tiles, as well as the rules or the bases and every type by using the finite element methods, then extracting details for the reinforcing requirement bars or the reinforcement roads in the structural sketches and files can be exported exactly to a AutoCAD program here to print or to print directly by the commands of SAFE software. Description about the diagram. The directory to use eTabs program. As you can see right here, this is the complementary programs or complementary software here for the CSI programs or CSI series of software structural programs, mostly associated with design and structure for such as let's say here for tanks, just like we said, the structural buildings or facilities and compounds and all that complexes. The software of CSI COAL. software CSI key COL call. This software specializes in designing the columns and the shear walls, as well as the structural vertical elements according to different types of loadings or different types of exerted forces right above or right upon the vertical forces and vertical moments exactly in unidirection or in bidirectional moments and vertical forces. As you can see, this is run for the SIC Cool Edition program for software update or for software update indication or for software update purposes. 5. The program of Perform 3D. This program specializes only in the structural analysis or the advanced structural analysis and linear analysis for dynamic analysis as well, for these facilities and buildings affected by a variety of forces and seismic indices, as well as this program is actually very much associated with commercial purposes or commercial tasks. It's only done, or the program with the software is only specialized exactly for the purposes and the academic advanced studies, particularly for MSc degrees or PhD degrees requirement studies. This is front as well. This is a combined right lateral placed, as you can see, right by the paragraph we just visualized. Right by paragraph. As you can see, we're from this program here for the CSI Perform 3D placed right by, as you can see, right by the paragraph or lecture paragraph we just said or just visualized about the program, about the software here as a version of the CSI. The software set, as you can see, this version of CSI software set. 6. The program of software CSI Bridges. This program is released, or recently released, or issued by the company, exactly specialized in modulation, analysis, and design. The bridges and the different, let's just say here, different connection bridges and affecting vehicularies and the outer loads, such as the seismic loads and bridge list was exactly inserted to the sub, or even in headline the sub, as you can see, referring headline the sub of V15 and expanded exactly in the software program via CSI as indicated right here before you. Directory to use etabs. State etabs. Define etabs. We choose the structural analysis and design etabs software program to explain and its application exactly in its analyzing, displaying the facility on examine and design the facilities so much for many of the purposes and features that can be exactly that can be summarized exactly in the following points. A software or with specific goals, specialized about the structural facilities and buildings and towers particulars exactly. 2. The program can provide the entire cases of linear statistical analysis as well as dynamic analysis and the p-delta analysis and illustrate the requirement or the required consideration during analyzing and designing. 3. Easy to be modulated and modified exactly in an insertion and the call off of the model or of the typical model that we're actually dealing with easily where the other software or the structural software for analyzing purposes or for analyzing let's just say here for analyzing tasks are pretty much going with, such as the structural facility or the further software for structural facilities analyzing are going with. 4. Conduct the analytic process using the different methods as the matrices are most important and most accurate method, which are most important and most accurate method here required to form a very intricate, high or ultra intricate matrices, but the appearance of a computer with a high velocity or ultra capacity computers and processing data has made the usage of the different elements, or as you can see right in front of you, is possible, more possible here in analyzing, or more possible of analysis, more possible in the field of analysis. 5. Most of the buildings utilized worldwide are provided by the program, by the software program exactly, and consequently the necessity or the easy to insert the entire required operation standard procedures exactly by designation. 6. The program would conduct, design the entire structural elements and give the reinforcement roads or the reinforcement required roads and the shear roads and the different or variety of elements with high accuracy or with high precision. 7. You check the entire dimensions of the inserted or the input profiles or the, as you can see, the input cross sections, whether they were adequate to resist loads or even can be changed or can be even replaced exactly at the designation. 8. Reviewing the designation process or reviewing the designation task and printing the results or printing the outcome for the calculative diary or the calculative memoir required to be accompanied with the designation. 9. The easity or the facility exactly facilitation here, so it print the output of analyzing and design in the form of required or accordance to the required form, such as files, document files, schedules, tables, sketches, diagrams, moments, reinforcing roads, reinforcing iron roads, or reinforcing ferrous roads, and reinforcing any metallic roads, as you can see from 10. The facilitation of export and to get out or to bring out the typical model from the AutoCAD program, whether they were three-dimensional facility structures or projections, providing many of time and efforts in modulation or exportation. 11. The feature of the similar floors are included, facilitating the modulation and the modification and sketching and specialization. 12. It can combine the modified and required modifications, in particular unrequired modification at the modulation or the exact analyzing performed by the software program or conducted by the software program, exactly make them all easy to insert the standard operation procedures or the standard procedures or the standards or the insertion or the input of standards and the special particular requirements and special requirements other than the particulars. Particulars were only way too great dimensions which we're actually having right now, so I'm not going to be able to say particular, only special requirements. 3. The facilitation of exportation and importation by the further analyzation software, such as the SAP, STAD Pro, and the SAF Rivet, or SAP and Safer Rivet, other than STAD Pro. STAD Pro way too great dimensions because that's what we're having right now, so I'm not going to be able to mention STAD Pro here, exactly in the context, and many other else. Also, there are many of multiple features and multiple characteristics for the show program or for the software, which you will identify exactly when using the commands for the software. As you can see over here, the text content directory of etabs or the usage of etabs. Part 1 is modulation of a tower consisting of 12 floor by the software, or by using the software utilizations, or by using the software conduction. As you can see, we're referring to this part 2, or even installment 2. Installment 2 is disambiguation the software lists, or software menus, or software, let's just say here, software menus. The beneficiaries of this text: the design engineering in the engineering bureaus, the observer or supervisor engineering in the locations, the university students, Department of Civil Engineering, the alumni of the civil engineering faculties generally, and the structural enthusiasts particularly. The way you can get from having this book, or the way you can get from having this text, exactly. The way you can get from having this text. Learn how to form or how to use the etabs software program in structural and designation analyzing for all types of structures. 2. 1. This is grade 1 here. To be able to use the entire tools for the show and the modulation of this variety of structures. To know how to use or to know the way to use statistical analysis in analyzing and design the variety of structures according to the required or desirable code. And American Code of 2002 AD. 4. Variety method for exportation or importation from the AutoCAD program to etabs program. Input variety of methods from program etabs to program AutoCAD to program etabs. Wave outcome output exactly from etabs with different multiple methods and modality to deal with. 6. To deal with the designation units or variety of designation units for the shaders, columns, designations, as well as the designation as well as the design of shear walls. 7. The concept or fundamental concepts of the seismic analysis of structures and the way or the modality to apply them in the program and extract their outputs. 8. Introduction about the dynamic analysis for structures affected by the seismic structures affecting the seismic powers or affecting the seismic forces or the seismic loads. The seismic influences. The way to use the text. To reach professionality, we recommend the reader here to apply everything or every matter that actually mentioned exactly the example. First part, if you require more add intels exactly here about any command of the of any command stipulated exactly in the text or in the curriculum handout that we're actually visualizing right now. We would like to recommend the reader to go right exactly to the part 2, especially about disambiguating the menus and commands for a program. I will press button F1 here, so the program will pops exactly right up with the help to evaluate the required command with an additional entails about, with noticing that the program language, especially especially the help, is easy and as simple as possible. After done, from applicating the example from the beginning right to the end, from the beginning, from the start part to the end, or from the beginning part to the end, we would like to recommend the leader here with forming his own special project here to apply everything he learns exactly from the example, or every matter that he actually here learned exactly completely by the example or in the example, in order to make professional practice to use and to be an enthusiast for the show, for the software, or enthusiast for the software, exactly. The introduction. The major scientific developments and the recent scientific or contemporary scientific developments in manufacturing and devising software computer devices since appears in the last century or later century leads to development of systems or development of assemblies, as well as the associated programs and softwares or associated softwares, with the development of the devices exactly to upgrade ultra levels of speed and processing in order to provide time and effort. Engineers begin exactly to rewind very hard methods here and develop them exactly to get the best results there is, or the best results there are, with the maximum accuracy or maximum precision as possible, with a further or with a very expandable permissible time, as you can see right here, provided by systems or provided by the analyzing and design structural current analyzing and design softwares from facilitation here to use the computer to get the required outcomes. But the work of engineers specialized in this field exactly very important or maximum essentiality to observe and examine the entire values of the outcomes, outputs, or the entire consequences outputs, and make sure their authenticity according to the way he knows of his engineer program or his engineer background exactly, or of his engineering, let's just say here, the engineering breakthrough of this domain. Type of or the current utilized current utilized software, as you can see right for you, are the Stand Pro, Best Ever, SAP 2000, eITABS, Save a Robot, and many other or many further structural softwares. God is the Lord of all prosperation. God is the Lord of all prosperation. يعني الله ولي التوفيق. من الله التوفيق. Installment 1 يعني الجزء الأول. Steps to modulate a 12th floor consistent building, or 12th floor consisting towering of the by the program or by the software, as you can see right. Chapter 2 or Chapter 1. Loading the program, identified by the model. Identify the model. Chapter 2. Concepts, fundamental or foundational theoretical concepts. Chapter 3. Input, access for the program. Chapter 4. Identify materials and cross-section used by the model. Chapter 5. Input the model. Chapter 6. Identify loads. Chapter 7. Proceeding requirements specializations. Chapter 8. Analyze and display results. Chapter 9. Design or structural designation. Chapter 10. Shear wall designation. Chapter 11. Dynamic analysis. Chapter 1. Uploading the program and identify the model, or identify the pattern. Identify the pattern or identify the model. Steps to upload the program, or steps to upload software. Uploading crack. Project constituents or task ingredients. Directory of utilization of eITABS. steps to upload the program. And to do upload the program, we insert the CDs or associated to the eTabs, or pressing the special folder of the program or special folder of the software, the loading disk. As you can see right front, it says setup launcher, and the computer and structures. Press setup. All you have to do is press setup, and the program or the installation wizard will be popped right up to your face. As you can see already, will be popped right in your face. As you can see right in front of you in the installation wizard. The program will be installed exactly right to the desktop, or it will be exactly installed to any directory of your own, choosing exactly here to the desktop or the C local disk if you're on laptop or PC or any mainframe software or mainframe device or mainframes assembly that are actually using here to get the program right about, or to get the program right by. Let the software complete uploading afterwards, and you can have a pop-up window. Press next. Pop-up window, or let's just say here, license agreement of the uploading program will be appear exactly. Select I accept and press next as also. As you can see right front here it is. Follow the commands of uploading by pressing next multiple times, then pressing install. The program will be installed just like I said here to any directory of your own choosing, to any directory. If you want to choose, or to any directory you choose, or exactly to any directory here to the desktop, or in the local CD, or the local F, local D, local C, local E, and local disk you actually choose here to get the program right at, or to get the program right above. As you can see, for you, it will hidden right away to. It will be hidden right away to. Now the program will start uploading, or the program will begin to be uploaded. Program key uploading, and then press fin here, as you can see for here. This is the installation, as you can see, we'll load the program right into the desktop. The steps are mentioned right now, as visualized right now, are these main steps or fundamental or foundational steps here to install the program or install software of eTabs exactly to desktop or any directory in the laptop, or any mainframe assembly you're actually using here to install the program right at, as you can see for you. So, loading the crack. Here the crack to authenticate as well as to confirm that your program you're using exactly is pretty much satisfying the global standard procedures or the worldwide standard of procedures at which they are pretty much agreed or consensusly agreed by the let's just say here by the global organizations, as you can see, for global engineering organizations. The uploading of crack. Insert crack file for eTabs. The files exist right in profile and the profile file of crack exactly to uploading the program directory as illustrated in the following figure. Find target. Comment, rule, shortcut key, and alone cut key, or starting not shortcut key. Here's the key only, sticky key. See, the directory will be as follows: the directory to upload the program, or the directory to upload the crack, and the serial or the crack here exactly to the installation installment of the program or the installation software that you already have installed right into the desktop, or you already have installed exactly to any local disk if you want choosing, to any local disk exactly fixed to your computer, built in exactly to your computer or your laptop or any mainframe assembly you're actually using. The directory will be as follows. Directory will be as follows: the C program files into computers and structures exactly tabs 9. And pressing the right click for the mouse and choosing properties, or choosing, as you can see right from the features. I press short, or in this case right from here. Then find target. Find target and press OK. Paste the entire files in the folder as usual program and was installed right at exactly the C local disk. Activate file CENI 950 by pressing it exactly by pressing the CENI 950, then pressing the batch. You have a pop-up, or you're just gonna have to have a pop-up phrase says fully successfully batched. A notation here to be mentioned, or important remark. For the users of Windows 7, we should press the right-hand mouse, as you can see, referring to the file of CENI 950. They're pressing the command run as administrator, or even open as administrator, then pressing batch. The program or the software, as you can see, referring will be exactly, the components of the software will be exactly patched and just by entering the serial right directory you already upload the program right to. Chapter 2. Foundational Theoretical Concepts. Introduction and the finite element method. Coordinates frames of the show, of the software. Degrees of freedom and inner actions. The concepts of entities and elements. How would the software identify the various elements? The way that the software will identify the various elements. The way that the software will identify the various elements. This is chapter 2. Introduction to finite element method. Forces and reactions in any elements can be calculated as follows. Force equal to the roughness by the transition. As you can see, the roughness is constant, and transition will be calculated exactly by adding any value, or by adding any amounted value, exactly a valid amount, exactly to the equation written exactly in the program to be calculated, or required to be calculated exactly in the software. As you can see, the F is a force represented by the force. You can see where the and the equal to the K constant of the roughness and coarseness by predicted multiplied by the U. The way here for the structural analysis by using the matrices pretty much depends on your previous or predecessor rule, calculated forces and stresses for each element, for each full element from a not or not full element. While the finite element methods pretty much depend to divide the elements to a variety or even to an enormous amount of sections, then repeat the solution for each section to get the results, or to get the required consequences exactly, and depend the amount of division exactly, or the amount of sectionizations exactly, depend the magnitude and the degree of the solution accuracy required by the analysis. Types of definite elements. Dot elements are used to represent the nodes of connection between the inner, or between the linear and the superficial, or the linear and superficial elements, in addition to represent the beams and the yoking elements, or the junction elements. 2. Linear elements used to modulate the shaders and columns and spatial and grid elements exactly, and the supporting elements. 3. Superficial elements consist of 3 or 4 knots for each element, or consists of 3 only for 3 knots for each element, but 4 in a very advanced Standard Pro software. They're actually doing it. In case we were dealing with Standard Pro software, you're going to figure out the way I'm talking about here. 4 knots only existed by the program, or only performed and provided by the program Stat Pro, which is pretty much a software here for structural and design analysis in the advanced level, are used to modulate the entities and the superficial elements and the planar and superficial and the curvature elements. Coordinate synthesis, or coordinates frames of the software. Cartesian coordinate synthesis, or Cartesian coordinate set. The Cartesian set consists of 3 perpendicular axes in the spatial media, or even supported by the right-hand rule, which assumes that the first axis towards the thumb and the second axis towards the, as you can see when they're perpendicular, and the third is vertical to each of the XY plane, or the XY planar axis, as you can see in front of you, they are sectionized exactly and divided to the set, or even let's just say here the axis, the three-dimensional Cartesian axis, or the three-dimensional Cartesian perpendicular or orthogonal to each other axis, exactly originated from the O origin, or even originated from the O region or O point, exactly the three-dimensional spatial media direction dealing with exactly, and intersected exactly at, or better for to say intersected or even combined, or even combined by or comprised by the point O exactly, and intersected by the point O, or even let's just say here perpendicularly meet is exactly at the point O, and perpendicular to each other exactly at the point O. The set of general coordinates, global coordinates. The set of general coordinates, so the global coordinates are identified. There are three axes in the spatial medium. So ZY X of redhead ruled, and the main center, so the main center of the show when popping up the show will be them. Exactly, will be them. I mean the general coordinate sentence, or the general coordinate set. The z-axis or the general z-axis will be predominantly upward, and the axis will be constant entirely for the entire facility, or for the entire structure. Local coordinates. The local coordinate set identify the 3 axes, 3 perpendicular, or orthogonal axes exactly in space and 3-dimensional spatial media, but particular associated to the structural element, where each element possesses possessing his own local axis, and get to mention that the axis is exactly right-hand ruled and denoted as 1, 2, 3, and the color of the axis on 1 is red, and the number 2 will be the white, and the axis 1 is the red, as you can, or the axis as you can see, the axis is red, but the axis 2 will be in white, and the axis 3 will be in blue. First of all, local particular axis associated to dot points, by the dot points exactly dotted by the dot points, and the orientation will the orientation of their axis exactly will be matched on concurrent for the orientation of the general axis or global axis, where the axis 1 parallel to the general global axis of x, and the axis 2 parallel to the global axis of y, as well as the axis 3 or axis 3 as you can see roughly parallel to the general global axis of z, as well as you can rotate the entire axis and shift their orientation exactly according to the requirement purposes or according to the user demand. Second, local axis is particular to the dotted or to particular or associated to the linear elements with their axis orientation as follows. The positive axis orientation for the x1 here and towards the generation of the sketching the elements from node I to node j. The positive orientation of the axis 2 will be as follows. For the shaders, the general axis of the global axis z will be parallel to the global axis z. For the columns will be parallel to the global x axis. The orientation of the positive orientation for the third axis is vertical to the both xy planar axis and as you can see from or the z or the let's just say here the xy planar axis, and according to right hand rule as well as we can shift the entire orientation here for the axis 3 and 2 according to the demand of the user, according to the requirement purposes. 3. The local specialized axis with the superficial elements and the shell elements will be oriented with axis orientation will be as follows. The positive axis for the axis 2 in the horizontal slices will be parallel to the global axis of y. The positive orientation of the axis 2 in the vertical slices will be exactly, or as you can see, the vertical slices will be exactly parallel to the global axis z. The axis 1 in the both cases is the second axis in the planar slice according to the generation or according to the generation orientation. According to the generation orientation, or according to its generation orientation, to its generative orientation. The axis 3 will be particular to the slice according to right hand rule, as well as we can have the entire orientation for the axis 2 and 3 according to the requirement purposes. 2. Cylindrical coordinate set consists of radius r and the phi theta instead of xy plane, as you can see right here, and the global axis z will be as the same, or will be the same as it is in the Cartesian coordinate set. This is cylindrical coordinate set that you before you. R theta z are the cylindrical coordinates in the three-dimensional Cartesian or in the three-dimensional cylindrical spatial media. Degrees of freedom and the interactions. Any node of any elements in the spatial will have 6 degrees freedom only independent and represented 3 transitions in the directions of the 1, 2, 3 local axis and U1, U1, U2, U3 and 3 rotations about the axis 1, 2, 3 on 3 gyrations or rotations about the axis 1, 2, 3 as follows. Represented or even scheduled or listed as follows: R1, R2, R3 respectively, and interactions generated as a result for transitions and the previous rotations will be R as follows, or will be as follows. First, axial force P in the direction of local axis 1 resulting from the transition U1. 2. Shear axis or shear force V2 in the direction of local axis 2 resulting from the transition U2. 3. Shear force V3 in the direction of local axis 3 resulting from the transition U3. 4. Spin moment T or torsion moment T around the local axis 1 due to the rotation R1. 5. Detour moment M2 around the local axis 2 resulting or due to the rotation about R2 or due to the rotation R2. 6. Detour moment M3 around the local axis 3 resulting or due to the rotation R3. The concept of entities and elements. The practicality here for modelling the entire facilities of the program by the software is actually pretty much different than the modulation methods in any analyzing software that are actually used due to the following reasons. 1. Facilitate the modulation of the software to the max as possible, considering that the shows is specialized about the buildings and structures. Specialized about the structures and buildings. 2. The ability to convert the variables as well as the demands of the structure to an elements or entities and forces that software can understand or software can comprehend or even deal with. 3. The software depended in the insertion of the topic model to the entities, and the program will simultaneously do and proceed the task of analyzing by converting the top model exactly dependent or the upgraded top model by the entities to certain elements model dependent or certain elements dependent model, so it can be resolved. So the model will be resolved in this case. The entities can be specified in the program and by the software into three types. Dot entities. Dot entities are used to identify let's just say here, the membranes, the salt membranes and spandrels and beams and in addition to entire forces masses. 2. Linear entities used to identify columns, shaders, and yoking members, and junction rivets, or riveting junctions. 3. Superficial entities used to identify tiles, walls, orifices, and solid membranes. The main figure or the main purposes of converting the entities model while modulation and identificative procedure for the characteristics exactly to an element-dependent analytical model by forming special different elements representing the designation model or the typical model of the facility. So the program or the software can deal with and analyzing the entire model according to the theories analyzing with definite elements, or as you can see for definite elements after concluding or after the inception of the analyzing process or the analyzing task. The program or the software will display results in a photo or in model imagery or in the form of entity-dependent model other than the elements-dependent model. Say the modality at which the program or at which the software will identify a variety of elements. The program can define the model as follows. The linear elements or the linear horizontal elements will be identified to the program as beams. The linear vertical elements will be identified as columns. The linear inclined elements will be identified as brass. The null elements will be identified by the null. The horizontal dimensional elements or the horizontal dimensional lines will be identified by the dimensional line. The horizontal surfaces will be denoted by floors. The vertical surfaces will be denoted by walls. The inclined surfaces will be denoted by ramps. The linear inclined elements here will be denoted as riveting other than brass. No brass. Riveting يعني هنا مو brass. أعضاء ربط ستعرف بريفت. riveting ربط أعضاء ربط. هنا البراس تستبدل ب riveting or rivet. The inclined surfaces were identified by ramps, as you said. The hollow surfaces or the hollow, as you can see, or the hollow planes or surfaces will be identified by null. Not the solid surfaces. Solid surfaces will be identified by null. In this case. Chapter 3. Inserting axes or introducing axes to the software. The methods to introducing axes to software. The steps to sketch the axes in AutoCAD by the AutoCAD. Method 1 is to import axes to the eTabs software. Method 2 to input axes from the eTabs software. The advantages of utilizing axes in the software: adding a pattern or a patterning model, adding the set patterning model, adding the linear and superficial and dot entities. 3. Proceeding the process or proceeding the task of division linear and superficial entities. 4. Knowing the direction, wire modulation, and display results. Methods of inserting axes or inputting axes to the program. Method 1. Importing axes by exportation or importation from AutoCAD software. The advantages: the facilitation of drawing or the facilitation of graphing of AutoCAD graphing. The architectural graphing comes from the architectural engineering exactly and drawing the required lines easily right there. The proportionality of the complicated or intricate projections, or as you can see before you, the proportionality of the intricate mappings. Mappings يعني مساقط هنا بلغة البرمجة. Particularly preferable when inserting or when inputting the model from AutoCAD as well. Method or even the steps to draw the axes are summarized as follows. Can be summarized as follows. A new whole layer knows a grid will be formed. Make sure the units and the graph coordinates. Don't access by the line command. Saving file by the extension DXF. Importing file through eTabs software. As you can see over this is also called front. As you can see right front here, then the entire summarized, or as you can see right front here, the entire summarization will be applied exactly as the book states, or as the book exactly stipulates. Steps: the row circuits, or the row access by the AutoCAD software. Open file that contains the architectural graph required. Form a whole new layer called grid, and then select color for and make them the effective layer. Make it the effective layer. The active layer. From the command draw line, draw access to the grid layer, and then draw from the beginning of the axis to the end. Then press enter, and then draw this axis to from the beginning of this axis right to the end, or right to the stochastic orientation. Right to the stochastic orientation. Any stochastic orientation in the two-dimensional media you're actually drawing, or you're actually dealing with exactly. Any two-dimensional spatial media you're actually dealing with X, Y, plan representation, planar representation. When you're drawing axes that are grid layer here, the entire layers exactly will be off, except the grid layer, and the coordinates of the map will be exactly transferred to the point 00, and the units will be made sure exactly they are meters. As the front, as you can see, we're running indicated by the stipulated paragraph we just said. We just visualized right here in front of you. Then save the file with the extension of DXF from the directory file to save as to file of type to the XF directory. Method 1 is to import access to the eTabs software. Open the eTabs pop-up window and lock up the window to tip for day. Then select the units from the motor kilonewton by meter. To import access, command as follows: file to the important directory, file to the import directory, then to the DX file directory of architectural grid. Locate the save spot and draw by the AutoCAD exactly in the extension DXF, then press open. You can have the following pop-up window. Make sure entire units. Select the name of the layer at which the X's are drawn in the AutoCAD, which are grid, from select layers for grids. Select Z global axis from the global up direction, then press OK. Then press yes. The software will exactly import the entire axis here. Already appeared in the following figure for the four floors only, and to do it each 3 meter floor for each, and also do 3 meter for each floor, as you can see roughly. Then the entire floors will be added, and then modification the elevation afterwards, and modify the, as you can see roughly, modify afterwards. Or modification will be preceded, or it will be done exactly afterwards. Use the definite arrows of arrow up, arrow down, as you can see, arrow left, arrow left, arrow right, arrow left, to move from right, left, and back, or forward to backward. Use the different arrow for the upward and backward, as you can see, in case the plan were activated in any window that is available. Use different arrow to move from right to left and backward, forward to backward, exactly. Then identify elevation for any windows that is available, exactly, and select the name of the axis you want to watch or you want to regard as illustrated right by the following figure. Add new elevation, modify show elevation, modify all show elevation exactly by the following predecessor steps stipulate exactly, and then delete the elevation name, or not delete here. Insert the elevation name. Go. Format of the visual can be changed for any window by pressing the window you want to change their exact dimension for. So it appears blue and entire coexist windows. The ways to determine, or the way to demonstrate the axis. From view file, from view menu, select the command set 3D view if you want to see them in 3 dimensions, or select the command set plan view if you want to see them exactly in the horizontal map by the horizontal mapping. or select the command set elevation to view, and you want to see them in top view. Or from the tool or the toolbar, as you can see, we're going to select the following. As you can see, from the following samples: 3D plan elevation. Refresh window, refresh view, create open GL view, show custom view, or save custom view, and change axis location and measure. For size, if you want to show, if you want to see, or if you regard exact top view here, to select the set elevation view from the view menu and elevation from toolbars, as you can see from the 3D plan elevation for elevation only, or exactly for the elevation. If you want to just see the elevation here, or just want, if you just want, in case you just want to see the vertical or the top view for the projection or the mapping directly here, you want to watch, or even you want to regard exactly, or you want to review and rewind after task conclusion, as you can see properly, or after the task performance. Let's just say here and select number or sample of the axis you want to watch exactly, so it appears like that on the screen on the monitor. Inserting housing blocks. To increase number of blocks, or to increase the amount of blocks in the software to the required amount, such as 12 floor, select the command according to the directory flow. Edit story data, insert story. Then we insert data as illustrated in the combined following figure, then press OK. As you can see here. From existing story, non-story. Exactly, as you can see, story 4, story none, 3.5, 3.5, the story high, and the number of stories, or even the amount of stories, and story ID. Story's ID is going to be like story, only 5. New story location to the story 4, insert story to the story 4 directory. Then press OK. Method 2. To insert the access from the eITABS software. Their characteristics. Easy to insert, easy of insertion. Easy or the facilitation of insertion, especially if the mapping is so simple. 2. You can insert the entire details of the floors easily. 3. The possibility of adding a mold or the patterning mold exactly from the app store for the show. Patterning mold or the modulation mold. The possibility of adding the modulation mold here from exactly from the or off the program software app store. And to do so, pop up the program menu, exactly pop up the software menu, and change the units for kilonewton per meter or kilonewton by meter from by the monitor. Open a whole new model, file to new model directory, and control by N or control plus N, or from toolbars, or from tool task, as you can see from here. You can have the following pop-up menu if the model is brand new, press no. Then the model or the software in this case will use the established data or the base data by the software exactly to determine the options and the particular associated identifications by the model, also the values that are determined by the user. If you have a previous model or from models and you want to transfer the entire identification to the program, to the whole new software, we choose the command choose add B, where the program or the software will open a pop-up new window, chooses the new model you want to transfer the identification exactly to the new model for, and the identification entirely to be transferred are the cross-section area and their characteristics or the features and the loadings and code identifications and the loading cases. The things cannot be transferred, or even the mirrors, or even the, let's just say here, the components cannot be transferred, or the grid lines and the floor data and entities and terminations, or specifications and specializations given for entities exactly, and every components of displaying windows. The command default EDP, as you can see from you, are included by the iTabs software in the same software file that contains the executive exe file called default EDP. And this file contains a set of cross-sectional components and identifications and the preferable options or preferable hypothetical options. The end. Press the button exactly will be imported the entire identification, and the preferable choose or preferable selection exactly will be imported to be applied in the whole new brand model of yours. In case if there's no such file or this file existed exactly, the show or the software will exactly use a set of hypothetical values established or based to the software to determine the values for identification and selection and apply them to the whole new model. In this example, form identification right from the beginning, from the very beginning, and they select the gating no. You can have the following pop-up window. Identify the dimensions as illustrated by the window. Custom grid spacing, spacing in y direction, spacing in x direction, spacing in y direction, or number line by y direction, or number line by x direction. This is uniform grid spacing. يعني مسافة منتظمة بين المحاور. To modify the entire grid lines, data determine or even set for the option or select the option custom grid spacing and select the command of edit grid, as you can see, or edit grid or edit grid. You can have the following pop-up menu: identify or even modify the grid axis spacing as illustrated in the pop-up menu, and then modify. Press OK. And to modify the direction and the entire namings for the axis, as you say here, for the axis, the command of grid labels or labelation. To modify the entire direction and labelation for the axis, the entire command or the following command will be selected exactly for the grid labels. In order to modify floors, select the option of custom stored data and select the command of edit stored data. As you can see, the stored data will not edit it. You can have the following pop-up menu: identify or modify the elevation of the second and third floor as illustrated exactly by the window. Determine or even set for the similar floors are the first or the three-hole stores or the three-hole floors where the floors are ripped, exactly ripped slab, and the rest of the homing or the housing blocks being their solid slabbed, as you can see right in front of you. You can notice that the fourth floor is a very conventional floor, but the roof of the fourth floor is actually pretty much housing complexive. So the it will be formed, or if the third floor roof, as you can see right in front of you, exactly formed identical for the entire housing complexes or compounds. And after the modification, you choose OK or select OK. For more details about the commands, you can review part 2 of the text in the chapter 2 of the menu edit. This is, as you can see right in front of here. Reset selected rows. High 3.5. Master story reset or set for master story, as you can see right in front, similar to select point and so splice height. Change units. Calculate mirror. You can change units or return, and then after the modification you can choose OK right afterwards. Then press OK button by the window or in the window, as you can see right in front of you. Building plan, grid system, and story data definition to have the following access by the displaying windows. تم بحمد الله رب العالمين.